People is proud to present the 40 Days 40 FinTechs, an initiative under its Include Everyone program, which is leading the way in advocating for technology that promotes financial inclusivity. Since 2020, we've profiled over 100 FinTechs, and our latest season is shining a spotlight on those breaking down digital barriers and transforming lives for the better. Join us in this financial inclusivity revolution, presented with generous support from the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. Follow hashtag 40 Days 40 FinTechs, hashtag Level 1 Project to learn more and get involved in creating a brighter financial future for all.
The 4 Days for FinTechs initiative continues to shine a spotlight on innovators that are using financial technology to serve the unserved and underserved people in Uganda and across Africa. On day 36 of the annual High People 4 Days for FinTechs initiative, Season 5, we are glad and really excited to have a representative from Hamwe East Africa. Please introduce yourself.
Hi, everyone. My name is Stella N, Lugalambi. I am a co-founder and managing director for Hamwe East Africa.
A pleasure. For those watching you for the very first time, briefly tell us, what is Hamwe, what is the history behind Hamwe, and what do you do at Hamwe?
Hamwe is an AgriTech that we started in 2013. We made 11 years this year. And I think we have done about 3 high people presentations. Hamwe has been working with the underserved farmers in off-the-grid areas of Uganda, whereas everybody else tried to work with, of course, farmers in the central. We decided to go at least, even if we're in central, to areas where the internet, these guys actually literally not having most of the services that people have. We decided that these are the actual smallholder farmers. And so we built a farmer management system that will help give the farmers a farming statement and a digital identity, plus also an economic identity, because most people don't understand that they actually make farm money. You can actually make every season about 1.5 million to 2.5 million from 1 acre of farming, meaning that in 2 seasons you're making 5 million. That's more than most people get salaries. But because no one actually has ever had records for farmers, no one actually expected that. I listened to people saying they make less than $1 a day. And one time a farmer asked me, but I cook a kilo of posho and we eat with beans. That is more than $1, and that is just lunch. So basically, nobody knew them. So we are giving smallholder farmers a digital identity plus an economic identity. If they have records for their farming, production records, they will be able to access finance because they will have a statement to show and say, look here, my data can speak for me. I am not as poor as you think. But with added financial instruments, actually can do much better. That's what Hamwe does. We build software that can help farmers showcase their activities, even when they're off the grid.
All right. Yes, sir. For the 11 years you have been doing this, how many farmers have you engaged? What has been your impact?
Yeah, the first 3 years were a bit difficult. I think we have discussed that bit. And so to date, we have over 400,000 farmers in East Africa. We're in Burundi, Rwanda, and Uganda. We are planning to actually go to Tanzania and Kenya and to grow that number to 1 million by 2025. The beginning of getting the numbers was a bit difficult, but now we get more numbers because we know what to do. We were learning and relearning on how do we profile farmers, how do we engage farmers, how do we make them adapt the new technologies, how do they get digital literacy so that they can actually use our systems. And with the time now, we have become better and the farmers are adapting a little bit faster than they were doing in the beginning.
Yeah, someone might want to know, for the 400,000 farmers that you are serving across East Africa, what kind of services do you give them one by one?
Yeah, so the first service was we need to have your records on the platform. So we profile the farmer. The profile also covers what value chains are you in, where is the nearest water source, how big is the acreage. If you're planting trees like coffee, we find out how many trees do you have, the GPS location of your farm, and so do you actually have any financial services? So we cover a whole list of things, and that only is part of the profile. Secondly, we look at the second profile of what do you actually need? What are the challenges as a farmer? Do you have access to agro inputs? Who are the agro input suppliers? How far are they from your location? You can't believe some of them are as far as 70 kilometers for you to access a brick and mortar bank, for you to access a good agro input dealer. So we also get all those as the second part of the profiling. The third part of the profiling, we say, who is the off-taker? So our services go from there. So who is the off-taker? Who buys from you? Most of these people actually don't have a clue. Someone shows up, and one of them actually was told, hey, by the way, the person who was buying died from COVID. The guy hadn't died. But like I say, that's the third part. The fourth part, we say, do you have access, to things like tractor hire services, mechanization? Yeah. And that part mostly. Do you have logistics? If someone wants 30 tons of your cassava, which is like half an acre, can you actually access a truck to carry them? So we cover all those things. Who are the people who can actually bring? What is the transportation mode? Do you have access to a satellite bulking center? We have in Kriandongo, we had a problem where maize is getting rotten because they don't have access to a warehouse. How far is it? So we get all this data, and by the end of it, these are the services we offer. We offer bundled services. As long as we know what you're lacking, we come back to Kampala. We go and look for the solutions. We find off-takers. We find service providers. We now have even gotten insurance, crop insurance. We have gotten solar irrigation systems that actually cost from as little as 1.8 million, and they can cover 600 meters of a water source. And you can pay on credit for 3 months. So we get these suppliers, because some people ask, does Hamwe actually give us agro inputs? No. Hamwe gives you a platform that will get you access to these bundled services onto the platform. Because when we get these suppliers, we give them also a dashboard. They're able to log in. When they log in, they're able to see orders from the different people. So you can see we have, currently, I was telling you about Bududa, they ordered for maize seeds. And so you look at it and you show a supplier who is on your platform. For example, we've signed up with some big names like Equator Seeds, Grain Pulse, So they have access to the platform. They can see the orders. The rest it's total digitization, hands off. They come and say, okay, we have people, for example, in Bududa, who have ordered for over 7,000 tons of seed, and they need it because we don't want a delay of a week. That was the problem they were having. You need to have. So we sign on suppliers who actually have locations in some of these areas. They may not have in Bududa, but they have in Bale. They have stocks. They may not have, for example, if you're in Barara, they may have Barara, but they may not have in Singiro. But they can see and start planning. By the weekend, the seed is there. We work with our partners to train the farmers about your seed. You're not just going to give it to them. You explain to them that this seed can grow between 70 to 80%, because no seed is 100%. The farmer knows the expectation. He knows that, okay, I will get about 8 bags of maize from my acre. You anticipate. You see what that value of data is. It's very impressive, because you know that in 120 days, I will be having 8 bags. So you start looking for the market. You don't wait until. So the people who actually off-take that we work with, like AgroWays, they already know that we sold this amount of seeds. This amount of seed is expected. Then they start looking for trade financing. So it's the complete agriculture value.
All right. With that detailed explanation, I would like to know more. Do you deal with the smallholder farmers directly? Are you dealing with circles? Are you dealing with cooperatives? How do you handle these huge numbers?
Yeah, so this is what we did. When we started, we thought we could only deal we can't deal with individual farmers. Yes. It became too costly. So we worked with cooperatives, member-based organizations, FPOs, which are farmer producing organization, and farmer groups.
Right.
Farmer groups are always between 25 to 35 or 50 even. So what we did was we go to the location, we get a cooperative, we ask the cooperative members to pick some of their young youths. We're looking for youths because we need someone who is computer savvy, who is, because it's an app, it takes savvy. And so even if they didn't go to school, youths are really tech savvy. Yeah. And so we say, can you hire for us? So in the beginning, it was a little bit of a problem because most of these cooperatives are with only old people. And we told them no. I looked at one of them, I say, you're 47, I'm 47 at that time. I already have a 22-year-old, so he can be a digital agent and he makes some money from it. But he can't do it if he's not a member of the cooperative. Make him a member. If it's membership fee, the money he'll make from commission, he will pay. But you have to make him a member of the cooperative. And so that's how we work. We work with what we call digital community entrepreneurs. They're from the village. They come from there and they are part of the cooperative. And so what each community entrepreneur, digital community entrepreneur, runs between 100 to 300 farmers. Okay. Yeah, that's how they manage them. They take orders, they do collections, they profile, and they know what the farmer needs. So they're the ones who say, okay, my farmers now, I need actually the supplier you brought, like Oko, the insurance, to come and talk to them about that insurance and how it works. So he plans those visits. We work with our partner who is on the suppliers. He comes and trains them and tells them how the insurance works. Because like insurance for crop, government actually sponsors 32%. But did you know most smallholder farmers were not accessing that? The money has been there and you can't blame the government. Yeah. These insurance companies sit in Kampala. But the ones we've talked to have been coming to talk to farmers and the farmers are happy. Yes, they're not buying us fast. When we started 3 years ago, we got only 15 people subscribing the first time. But the second season, it was 1,500. They take the information. Adoption is a bit slow, but yeah. So, yes. So our digital community entrepreneurs, we call them DCEs, talk to the last mile. They actually work in the villages, in the parishes where they belong. We don't bring someone from Bale to go and work in Soroti, no. We don't bring someone from another county to work in your county, no. It's a boy who has grown up or a girl who has grown up in your neighborhood, so you're happy to discuss with them. He creates meeting, he trains you, he explains to you what Hamwe does, what digitization should do, or if we have partners, because sometimes we have implementing partners, they also explain to you. And when we have suppliers onboarded, these digital community entrepreneurs are the last mile. Now, when we come to the district, we have what we call territory executives. We call them TEs. A TE has 4 districts, but again in the same area. He's able to, when this agent, the digital agent creates a meeting, the TE can come if it's a big meeting. He's the one who discusses with the district commercial officers, district agriculture officials. And when he goes for that meeting, he goes with 50 of the agents in that area. So we have what we call territory executives. So each of them manages about 50 digital agents.
Yes. Yeah, thank you so much. Make me understand. With all the work you are doing, how has FinTech made your proposition even better?
The payment, like I told you, mortar and brick was a problem. I can explain to you, for example, my partner comes from, I had a co-founder, comes from Buremba. The next bank is in Ibanda, and that's 75 kilometers. So we had to sign up with the telecoms, MTN and Airtel, for a payment gateway. We are directly connected to them. We didn't go through an aggregator. So we signed up, we connected, we got our farmers to be to be able to be engaged in getting payments directly to their phones. So as a fintech, we have managed to also sign up banks. We've managed to sign up FlexiPay, which is a virtual sort of banking, so that our farmers don't have to be embarrassed to walk in, take long trips to go to a bank. The bank is in your neighborhood. We actually recently also worked with Airtel to make sure that the cooperatives can be merchants as well, so that they are able to have float and do this. Because when you pay farmers in one day, for example, the milk farmers, they can get up to 50 million. You have smallholder farmers wanting to withdraw 50 million. If you don't make their collection center merchant, how are they going to get their money out? That's why then most people carry cash, which is totally dangerous. So we signed on, had a payment gateway. We got payment platforms onboarded. We work with financial institutions to do, that is our fintech part of the.
Okay. Yes, Stella, I'm happy to hear that you have integrated payments and they are working seamlessly. And I'm also happy to note that you have mentioned the MNOs and the banks, because my next question is along those lines. Sometime last year, we visited some of your farmers in Oyam and West Nile, and we are very happy with the services you are offering. But they noted issues to do with network, connectivity, internet access, among others, as some of the issues that make the work that Hamwe does disturbing. Not that Hamwe is disturbing, but a network connection among others.
Makes it unable. We are sometimes not able to. So we have been having engagements with means of ICT. We actually had a cool meeting with.
Maybe you would allow me ask the question.
Okay.
What has changed since then?
Since last year.
Yes.
We signed up with Innovation Village and MasterCard Inc. We are giving farmers cards. They don't need network.
How does that work?
So what we have done is we are carding farmers. We're giving them what we call community pass. Now, community pass is a card where a farmer can check their records off the grid without online connection. It works on offline.
You will explain it for us in a more elaborate way, because even me, I'm hearing about it for the very first time.
Oh, really?
Yes, I mean, and I should admit.
Yes.
How does it work?
Yeah. So, like they told you, the biggest issue is a farmer couldn't access their statements of the offline. So we went into partnership last November after your presentation, and we signed up with MasterCard Inc. On the digital rails, what we call a community pass. Community pass is a card where the farmer can keep their biometrics. It's an electronic card where they can keep their biometrics, all their information on the card. And we use a point of interaction machine for them to be able to view their information. It works offline. So you don't have to have connectivity for you to work, to check your information. That was the biggest issue. We just started it, so we only have about 20,000 farmers done, because we needed to do a lot of integration. So that is our newest innovation. Yeah. So even when we were at the farmers' trade shows, we've been showcasing to show them that this card can take your order. You don't have to have a phone, by the way. Yeah. It has all your information. And we're looking at a future whereby you can even get payment and pay using the card.
Yeah, that is an amazing intervention. Yeah. And we shall come to the field to confirm how it works. In the meantime, what happens to those that are not using the card?
We're going slowly. Implementation of new technologies take some time. We are now on a pilot phase, and like I said, we've gotten about 19,000, exact numbers below 20,000. And so we are encouraging, and that has become a problem as well. Some people are thinking we are leaving them out, but we can't implement the whole country at once. Yeah, so in the areas that we have been in, the card is now going to be used for making orders as well. Because before you would tell the agent, hey, Stella, I need 20 kilos of maize seed, sunflower. But now you tap and we put in You tell us that you will be able to view your information even if you don't have a phone. You don't need a SIM card for your card.
Amazing. Yes, as someone that has been in this business for more than a decade, what do you see is the state of Uganda's fintech industry? Where are the opportunities and which are the main challenges?
Actually, we still have so many opportunities out there. If we use fintech very well, I think we would have so many of our. I work with farmers, so I would say farmers financially included. We still have an issue with the technology. And the technology plus the regulations, all of them need to be a little bit advanced. But you can't advance as you're waiting for the regulations to catch up. For example, right now on our community pass, we would have added payments, but we can't because now again there's licensing. There's also being able to explain about the card and seeing how it can work. So we still have a long way to go, but you have to take baby steps and continue. So fintech still has a lot of people to actually access. I work in the rural areas, and you find sometimes, when you look at agents in Kampala, they're everywhere. In rural areas, they're not. Because when you look at the rules and regulations of becoming an agent, they're a little bit stringent. Some of them need you to come to Kampala to pick a letter. So we're looking at how do we make this easy for fintechs. There's trade financing. That's such a huge area. Because there are people willing to actually lend to these farmers looking at their data. But as a fintech, you need to actually now find money to license. And the trade financing is not going to be given to you until the rules about trade financing happen. Our banks have a regulation of a minimum. I think there's a 7% on interest. How do we work with fintechs? They are not commercial banks. Those little regulations, you want to cover everybody, but then you're still having the rules of a commercial bank. So there's still that little problem. So one of the biggest challenges actually for fintechs is the regulation catching up, technology and all that. But the other one is people adopting. Yeah, we haven't put money in digital literacy, financial literacy. Everybody likes talking about it, but I know most of my 400,000 farmers need to be trained. But you can't train without awareness. We need, first of all, digital awareness. How do I use my phone to access the data that Stella has on the platform? We need to train them. And I can't do that. It's a social event. The government has to come out and say, this is what fintechs are offering. This is what we can do. They can use some of their properties. And I like it that High People is doing this. I hope you can showcase this. Because if someone sees something on TV once, it won't work. I want to be able to access that information over and over. And SMS can work. But first of all, I need to be aware that it's functioning. Then I can access it over and over, and then I repeat, and then I go back. I repeat. But TV once, radio once. Yeah. Then no one has come out clearly to explain that fintech works. So the farmers are the awareness of fintech existence is still very, very low.
True. Yes, like you have noted, the awareness is low, but again, you indicated that Hamwe, High People, and like-minded people are doing their part with hope that others can join. Yes, as we wind up this, you are a woman in fintech, a champion of women in fintech, a leader over fintech, a woman leader over fintech. Please, what advice would you give to a woman, a young girl out there who's taking baby steps in this fintech industry?
Fintech industry is actually very lucrative, but you need to bootstrap for a few years before people adopt your services. You have to come in knowing that when you sign up, for example, with an aggregator like Hamwe, I will take some money off you, 20%. If you go directly to the telecom, they'll also take some. So you have to know that there is a cost for implementation. And I think the biggest problem has been people not actually estimating that cost properly. By the time you reach the field, in 3 months, you may not even be existing. You understand? So you need to do a little bit of research in research. And me as Hamwe, I'm always picking up people's phones. I like sharing knowledge because I have 40 million would-be farmers. I can't access all of them. I'm looking at only working with 1 million. So we need more women in fintech. There are so many women products that are being advertised, but no one is actually doing deliberate effort. So as a young woman who is coming in fintech, make a deliberate effort to actually design the ones for women. Right now, everybody is haphazard. But women, I went for a conference, I think last week, a bank was having a meeting, but they were not focused on women. Because when you're focusing on a woman, then look at my requirement, look at my needs. If I'm a farmer with 1 acre and I want to borrow 1 million, do you have that product? So I'm thinking, as a fintech, you can actually create that product. It's easier for you than a commercial bank. So the opportunity is immense. But sit down and innovate about actually talking to the women. Please don't just come up with something from Kampala and you think you can implement it in Kapchora. Talk to the real women. So one of your budget things is I have to do field work. Don't take people's kabozi and what. Go down there, talk to the LC, let them organize some women VSLAs, village saving groups. They have meetings. So ask when are the meetings. It doesn't cost much for you to take a ride to Mbarara. 300,000, you have accommodation for 50. You meet these women, you talk to them. You go to Bududa, you meet these women. Small budget, but put it in your budget. You will do a human-centric fintech, fin innovation. You will like it because you will be talking to the actual people that will consume your product. When you start from that point on, you will not bootstrap for long.
Thank you. Yes, Stella, you have said quite a lot of things, very informative and very knowledgeable because you have been doing this for quite some time. I wouldn't conclude this without asking you this. In your opinion, how has the 4 Days for Fintechs initiative, one, supported Hamwe, your entity, but even in a broader way, how has it improved the ecosystem?
Thank you very much. I love 40 Days of FinTech. I'm sorry to say this, but you're the only organization or entity that gives us a product that actually we can use for awareness. I was telling someone, we used the video we used last year in Ginger, and we got so many cooperatives signing up. Actually, we got about 80 of them. Because the video is actually informative. It's showing that we can go to these locations. So 40 days has given us visibility, has actually made people aware that we exist. As a startup, if someone can actually do a small video for you, we can't afford. It's 11 years. I've failed to afford one. I still only use the ones I have gotten with people. We can't afford to make awareness of who we are. And so your deliberate effort to actually showcase fintechs really makes me so happy because you are our brand ambassadors and you should never stop.
Thank you.
And as we are growing, we need more of these. Maybe next time we should do 2 in a year. I know it's expensive as well, but I think we can work together and we see how we can do more of these, or even come up with cheaper versions of where we can, as Hamwe now or as other fintechs, pay for a service where we can have a video for our company. We don't have one because we never put a budget to it.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Yes, Stella, thank you for those kind words.
Thank you.
You now have 2 minutes. And please, in your camera, build a case as to why all farmers should work with Hamwe East Africa.
Thank you very much for the opportunity. Hamwe East Africa is digitizing your records. With the modern world, if you're not on the digital platform of any kind, you're being left out. You don't have an economic identity. No one knows you exist. You are actually being left out. Hamwe's platform gives you a farmer management system as an organization, as a cooperative, as a member-based organization, as a farmers organization, as a VSLA, a village saving group, or a SACCO. It gives you access to information. Your data is collected. You have your production data year in, season in, and that data, you can use it to access trade financing, to access credit, even credit for seeds. So if you really need to understand more about what our product does, you call us. We'll come profile your farmers using people in your area. We will actually give them smartphones or point of interaction machines on credit, which they can pay using their commissions, not their own money, by using commissions. The cooperative gets access to this information, and they can go to a bank using the data. If you have 300 farmers in your cooperative, they have 6,000 acres altogether, and then they produce this much tonnage. Do you know how valuable that information is to the bank? Most people go there without information, but for you, you will have a statement of work. You actually show that this is what we need. We need to buy from our farmers. This is what we're expecting. It gives you value addition as a cooperative, and you can earn from that. If you buy from a farmer at 800 a kilo, you sell to a supplier at 1,200. That is the mandate for a cooperative. But most of you are not making any of that money because you do not have a starting point of data and records.
Thank you so much, Stella. Like you have heard from her, Hamwe East Africa is using financial technology to impact lives of over 400,000 farmers across Uganda, Rwanda, and Burundi. This has been day 36 of the annual 4 Days for FinTech initiative, Season 5. Thank you so much for watching, and see you soon.